Hey everybody, welcome to my channel, welcome to this video. In this video I'm going to talk about my experience and work with Hekate, goddess of witchcraft. She's also a Titan. So yeah, this is going to be some interesting and serious stuff. So with that said, let's get started. So prior to working with Hekate, I did a lot of ceremonial magic, a lot of different kinds of exploration and magic. I'm the only magic practitioner in my family, though it runs in my bloodline. I came into my magic, kind of at an early age, and been into magic again since I was a kid. And working with all of these different kinds of energies, I'm not gonna lie, I did some bad shit. And because again, I was exploring, I was figuring out this is some serious work, especially with magic that you're gonna do. So like I said, I was doing some not so good stuff, and I was able to conjure spirits though, and I was able to especially practicing ceremonial magic, I would conjure them to the manifestation triangle, and I was like, oh wow, I have a gift for this. This is my thing. This is what I'm meant to do. But in 2018, I got in an accident, and I was partying too hard in Chicago, and I had got a compression fracture in my upper vertebrae and in my upper spine, and that caused a seizure while I was at work, because I stood up really fast and I was like and then just blacked out and went to a seizure. And when I blacked out and went to the seizures, I did see stuff on the other side, is what I call it, the spiritual realm, the astral plane, whatever you want to call it, a different realm. I was talking to the spirits, and the best way they kind of let me know, especially on the other side, at least my experience, is they would speak in the whispers, like, oh, this is what you did, this is what you did, this is what you're doing, this is what you're doing. It was creepy as all get out. And every time I would come back from my seizures, I was a different person, because I was like, oh, holy shit, like I did some stuff. And when I was also on the other side, Hekate was there the whole time. She was guiding me and moving me in a direction that I necessarily wasn't even aware at the time. But I, practicing magic and occultism, I was like, I'm gonna explore what this means. So I remember doing a lot of different research, and then I forget which book I found it in, but I had read about Hekate, and one of her initiation practices was seizures. And when I read that, especially what she said she did with her followers, it was said that she would initiate them with seizures. And I was like, oh shit, that really resonated with me and clicked. It was like I finally got my answer. It was like, oh man, like this is her calling me. And she is an initiatory goddess, like I said, she initiates those who go through serious trauma, who go through serious pain, lots of serious things, because she knows how tough that is. And she has walked the darkness, she has seen the darkness, and she has conquered the darkness. And so she takes you in. And especially since I didn't come from any sort of necessarily initiation practice, I was basically a wild witch. And she took me in, and I started to work with her, and I was called to her, and as a goddess, I was like, oh my god, she understands me. Like, reading about her and learning about her, I was like, oh, she was like kind of a misfit, she was misunderstood. Zeus feared her for a reason, and I'm gonna cover some more of this, because yes, she is a mother and the maiden and the crone, and she has all these different aspects of to her, but like a mother, you know, if you're not necessarily on your correct path, or your highest potential, she will correct you, you know. And I've seen a lot of like female Hecatean witches that are her children. It's kind of nice to see some male Hecatean witches over there, and I personally believe that she has a different relationship with her sons than she does her daughters, just like any mother has kind of a different relationship with their son than they do their daughters. I've known her experience with me has been tough in some ways, but I know it's for like my highest good, and that's kind of why I always reiterate, like, this work and this, you know, magic, like serious magic, isn't always for everybody. I mean, you can hear a bunch of stories of people who, you know, once started magic, then they go back into like some of the other religions, and it's because it's safer in some degrees, and I get that, but you're also kind of giving your power away to somebody else instead of finding that power within yourself. And if your potential is supposed to be really high, like, she will boot camp you, she will grill you, she will push you to where you need to go. And I know I've been a bit stubborn, and so she's kind of had to push me harder some cases, and I get it. And I'm gonna give a really good story of this. So prior to even where I'm living at now, I had a magic room, and I was like, oh my gosh, my magic room, beautiful altar to her. And I made the stupid mistake of not listening to her, and it cost me. So when I had my magic room, I was hanging out with this friend. He would come over to my place all the time, and he actually did crack in my bathroom, and I was like, oh my god, you did crack in my bathroom. I was pissed. And, you know, I'm empathic, so I was being like credibly open-minded, you know, too open-minded and too empathetic, because especially being kind of an outcast myself, it was a lot of like, oh, you know, I know he's doing drugs and I don't judge. I'm not a judgy. I'm an open-minded person. So I just accept you for who you are. And, you know, especially being an empath, I was like, oh, it's another narcissist that I'm not aware of. And almost like, yeah, he was like borderline sociopath. It was nuts. It was bad. And she kept on warning me, like, you know, you got to get rid of this guy. Like, he's bad. He's going to get you into trouble. He's not looking out for your well-being. And I was holding on with that empathic, you know, that's not an excuse, but I was holding on to be like, well, nobody else invites me anywhere, and we go do these fun things, and I think he actually cares about me. And she's like, no. I'm going to show you how wrong this person is in your life. So through a bunch of different situations, I lost my house and my magic room, especially with like inflation and the housing market and everything that's kind of going on in the world right now. I lost my magic room. She took it from me because I was so even like solidified to those tools. Oh, I'm magic because I have all these different things. She's like, oh no, you're not your tools. The magic comes from in you. But I'm going to take those away from you. I'm going to take your magic room away from you. I'm going to take this away from you. And you're really going to learn this lesson. And so after I had lost my place, because, and I'll share that in another video, but I had lost my place, and then I was living with that guy in his new place, the one that I told you that I did crack in my bathroom, and I really got to see how he just didn't accept me and care about me at all as a friend. And I was loyal to this guy for years, and just did not care. He flat out told me loyalty is bullshit, and I am legit talking shit behind your back. And I think the magic that you do, I think it's bullshit. I think you need to get a grasp on reality. I think you're full of shit. I don't basically accept you for who you are. I'm basically using you for your empathic energy. He didn't say that, but like, that's what it was. I was like, oh. And when we would go out and do nice things, it was because he was laundering the money that he was making from the drugs. So it was all just to like filter it out. And I was like, oh shit. And he discarded me. Like, I was like, all right. He was like, I'm done with you. And so I had lost my friend, and I had lost my house, and that was some pretty bottom of the barrel. And it's because I did not listen to her, and she constantly told me over and over and over again, no, you gotta do this. And so yeah, after I had lost all of that, I had to move in with one of my friends, and that's even kind of where I'm at right now. And for a while, I didn't practice magic. I felt that I had lost it. I was like, how is it that I could have this altar to you and do all these things for you and give you offerings, give you, tools and trinkets, and dedicate this work to you, and how could you take this away from me? I'd lost my faith a little bit. I lost my faith. And then, I was still kind of, lightly drawn to it. I loved magic shows. I still loved, I still had my magic stuff that I would take with me. I was never going to give up my grimoire because I've been writing in that thing since I was 22 years old. And so I was like lightly touching it, but I hadn't really like practiced any spells. And with her, though, she would still send me lost souls, because I would still do tarot readings for people, and I still do. And she sent me a couple of like souls that I needed to teach and train, and she's like, oh, you think you can just like walk away from this magic? No, don't think so. And so she would bring him a little bit to me, and then it got to a point where one of my clients that I had read, he's like, I want you to teach me magic. And so I'm like, okay, here we go again. This is my calling. This is what I'm supposed to do. So with her, again, I hadn't prayed to her in a while, but I always still, wore this and kept her with me. And I even have her Strophalos wheel behind me. And talking to her again, I realized how much I missed her and how connected I am to her. And it's like, once she takes you in, you're in. Like, once you're one of her chosen children, you're one of her chosen children. And I know this can be a little controversial, just my opinion. Not that this makes anybody better or less than, but I think there's a difference between the people who pray to her versus the ones she kind of like chooses as her children. So even upon reading, like I said in that book, how she would initiate her seers and her scryers through seizures and reflective work like that. And she would appear to me in dreams. Very serious goddess to work with, and she loves humanity, she loves humankind, but that doesn't mean she's gonna have any weak witches in her coven, or even having weak witches as her children, I guess I should say. She's tough. I mean, she is part of the darkness, and she's not only darkness, but and not in a negative sense, but she's also light in a way, because she helps you navigate through it. She's a psychopomp, so she guides souls to their correct destination. She's a crossroads deity. So if you have any, dilemmas or crossroads in your life, that's what she'll do. And she's basically let me know, especially with souls of the living and souls of the dead, because I'm part of that is I'm a medium. And even if you look or research any occult knowledge about seizures, seizures are kind of meant to prepare your body for possession or invocations. And so through those seizures, I got inducted into the mediumship aspect of what I do. And so my body is a vessel for possession. And I'll share some other stories about how I've had spirits speak through me and channel it. It's I have some receipts. I have some stories from people that are like, oh my god, holy shit. But with her, again, like I said, she guides you to your highest potential. I know people are like, oh, that's a little scary and it's a lot, but it's good to let you know, because like if you're gonna get into this, if you're gonna go with her, she really does have your back and she will look out for you. But that does not mean, like a mother, that punishes their kid, that she also won't be tough on you. She was tough on me, but it was very necessary, because I will say that even her kind of taking my magic room away from me, I found a lot of myself, which is even why I'm getting back on this YouTube channel. I found myself, she told me to come in here and spread her message and let her know, like, she's kind of the definition around it. Like, if you want to fuck around, you're going to find out. And I fucked around and I found out. But I approach her with so much love and respect. She's my mom. She is my mother. She is tough on me. I love her so much. Very, very necessary in my growth as a human being, as myself, even as a practitioner. Something that I preach, especially on my channel, is really get to understand who you are as a person and who you even are as a practitioner and what you're all about. She'll do it. She sent me through like witch boot camp, and I've even been guided by her to get more into black scrying and seer sort of magic, and the other divination practices besides what I do. Mediumship, she's guided me to do. She's like, your job, basically, just so you know, is to be a crossroads director, to send that one on their path, that one on their path. And that's why you're going to study all these different forms of magic, is because you're going to send, and spiritual paths, I should say, because you're going to direct people in all of these different directions. And especially this way, I feel like we have like our earth jobs, but then we also have on this other side, especially for spiritual people, we have our spirit jobs. Mine is a crossroads director. It's like, you need to go that way, you need to go that way, I'll guide you that way. And I've even had dreams of like psychopomp work where I'm guiding the dead and guiding the living, who have recently passed on, through these different gateways and different paths that they're meant to go. So very, very serious guide works. And that's not to scare you guys. This was just my experience with her. She's a great deity, a great teacher, great mother. There's a reason why witches, magicians, a lot of practitioners work on her. Again, this is why Zeus feared her. She's very serious. She is kind, she is compassionate, she has a dark side. And when you see her, at least when I see her, she is just this black energy. And she tells me, she's like, you're gonna sit in the dark by yourself and you're gonna channel me, and I will show and appear. And when she appears to me, I see the black entity and she takes the shape. But she will also have this cold touch on my hand. And it's always my left hand, but she's like, all right, I'm gonna make sure your left hand is good. Because I know what you've done with your left hand. So that's magic. Just magic. But yeah, very, very intense, very serious goddess. I said again, this work isn't for everybody, but when you do, if she does like choose to come and see you, and I know hopefully the other Hekate witches relate with this and know what I'm talking about. But when she chooses you, it's different when you pray to her versus when she chooses you. There's a whole different world. She will make sure you are tough. She will make sure that you know who you are. She will make sure that you get it together in your occult practices. She will make sure that you do your work for humanity, do your work for souls, do your work for the other side as well as on this plane. And it's even why I've been called to make this video. I'm listening to her for sure. I'm listening. And if you guys resonate with this, again, like, share, subscribe, let me know. But yeah, I hope I can even reach out and hang out with the other, talk more about with the other Hecatean witches, males and females, to be like, you guys share your experiences with me working with Hekate, because that was mine. It's pretty serious. And yeah, she's a terrific, amazing goddess to work with. She will help you become your full realized, fullest potential, as not just as a practitioner, but as a spirit, as a human, as everything. She has such a great love for humanity, and she's a very serious, amazing goddess. I can't say that enough. So research Hekate, learn about Hekate. Again, like, share, subscribe on this video if you guys resonated. Other Hecatean witches, I hope you find this, and I hope we can connect and share our stories about Hekate, because man, what an amazing goddess. All right, catch y'all later.